everybody? Welcome to the show. Tonight, we are talking episode 4 of season 1 of Dexter Resurrection. Now, you know we've been following the show all season long, so don't forget to hit that subscribe button, hit that follow button, no matter where you are watching or listening. You can go back now, check out that Dexter playlist to go through all the reviews I've dropped for season 1 of this thus far. It also includes reviews for season 1 of Dexter Original Sin and Dexter New Blood as well. But let's not waste any time. Let's jump right on into things here with Call Me Red. We're going to start by talking what went on with Dexter in this episode. So, after killing Red in the previous episode, Dexter decides to take on Red's persona of the Dark Passenger. The idea here is that Dexter is going to infiltrate this elaborate dinner party being thrown for Red and apparently a number of other like-minded individuals, and hopefully get more insight on what Red was involved with and potentially find himself some new victims as well too. So this leads Dexter to the party that's set up by venture capitalist Leon Prater, played by Peter Dinklage, who has a fascination with serial killers. As he takes Dexter around his trophy room, we actually see trophies from the Trinity Killer. We see Brian Moser's deathbed from the original season of Dexter, and we even see Dexter's old blood slides as the Bay Harbor Butcher. So Prater very clearly knows game and has a lot of trophies from a lot of nefarious serial killers. But it is quite interesting to note that his right-hand man, Charlie, played by Uma Thurman, clearly does not share his proclivities. So I do have to wonder if that is something that's going to end up coming to a head here as we get on into the season, that when we start to get under what Prater is really about, is there going to end up being some kind of clash between him and Charlie. I think that's something that's going to end up coming here for sure. But I digress. Prater's party introduces us to a number of other serial killers brought here to New York. We get to meet Lady Vengeance, played by Kristen Ritter, the Tattoo Collector, played by Neil Patrick Harris, Rapunzel, played by Eric Stonestreet, and the Gemini Killer, played by David Damashane. Now, Dexter seems to feel obviously some kindred spirits here with these other serial killers. They get a chance to talk about their cravings and their hunts, and he sees a lot of similarities there. And obviously, given his history, while he might be hesitant to bond with other serial killers, we know that he also feels incredibly comfortable not having to keep that mask on and just be able to be who he truly is. Whether that actually means being Red's Dark Passenger or whether it's his own. From this, though, Dexter ends up forming a bond with Lady Vengeance. There's obviously a bit of a mutual interest there, especially as it turns out that Lady Vengeance might have a code of her own, as her first kill seems to come from a place of childhood trauma, the same way that it was for Dexter. So we're going to see how that relationship continues to develop here over the season. I think the problem that we're ultimately going to have is that Dexter very clearly is targeting all these killers, so that is going to put him at a head here with Lady Vengeance at a certain point. So you have to wonder, does she truly have a good code that might allow her to go ahead and get by Dexter's kill table? Or is Dexter still, at the end of the day, going to be forced to put her on that as well too? And I'm kind of thinking the latter, because we have to show that Dexter's not going to make the same kind of mistakes that he has in the past. I mean, already we're seeing that some of the same stuff is already going on that's probably going to put Harrison in some danger here. But I'm very much hoping that Dexter doesn't fall into the same traps he has previously, and he can work out this situation with Lady Vengeance to not get himself into any more trouble. But that's not the only big blow up here that we have in this episode, because Dexter finds out the Tattoo Collector is already targeting a new victim, literally going for one the very next day, and so he's forced to abduct and ultimately kill the Tattoo Collector as a way to protect another innocent victim from being got. Now, it's incredibly interesting to watch Dexter go ahead and jump to something as quick as that, because we know there has to be some repercussions coming out of this. Prater invited all these killers to a number of events coming up over the next few weeks. If folks start disappearing, like Dexter even mentions, there's going to be a little bit of inquiry about what happened in the first place, and the new guy showing up is likely going to have the most suspicion on him. So I'm interested to see how Dexter's ultimately going to navigate and get himself out of this, because he's already setting himself up to have some bigger issues than he's already had here. Moving to the cops. So Batista has made it to New York and he's decided to go and confront Harrison at the Empire Hotel. He's seeking more information about Dexter because obviously he knows that Dexter is alive, and he has to assume that because Harrison was in Iron Lake at the same time, that something clearly went down to make Harrison flee and make Dexter flee when he woke up from his coma as well too. But Harrison doesn't really give him that much information, and this ends up causing a bit of an issue for Harrison as his co-worker Elsa ends up accidentally revealing to Batista Harrison's involvement in the Ryan Foster murder. This leads Batista to the NYPD, where he's able to connect with detectives Wallace and Oliva, and he's able to actually see their similarities in the death of Ryan Foster and the Bay Harbor butcher victim. So the dots are starting to connect, and Batista's involvement is absolutely going to start bringing more heat, not just on Dexter, but very much so onto Harrison as well too, because right now, all that NYPD has on Harrison is very much circumstantial evidence, likely not enough to make a case. But you add in all of this extra insight from Batista, and we can see that the pieces are starting to come together, and Harrison's looking like he might be in a lot more trouble. Batista confronts Harrison again about the fact that he knows that Dexter had to have been the Bay Harbor butcher, and maybe some of what Dexter knew, some of what Dexter was doing, passed on to Harrison. But Harrison, again, very strong-willed, doesn't let anything slip at all. But we see how much this is weighing on him. This leads obviously to Harrison's storyline that's going on here. We've been seeing it from the moment that this season started up here, that he is dealing with the ramifications of shooting Dexter, and you add that on the ramifications of killing Ryan Foster. Harrison is not dealing well at all. It is abundantly clear, 100% clear, Harrison is not Dexter. He can't take joy or relief in these killings that he's doing. He absolutely sees it as wrong. Doesn't matter what the reasons are, justified or not, because the two people, well, I mean, he's only killed one of the two people, but the two people he's tried to kill here, one is a notorious serial killer and the other one is a serial rapist. So even though he's killing the people that should be taken out, it doesn't change the fact that all of this is still weighing in on Harrison. That guilty conscience is eating him alive. And now he has a physical reminder, because one of the little jobs he was doing for Ryan Foster before he killed him was he was taking his watch to go get fixed. The watch is fixed, Harrison has to pick it up, and it's just there as a constant reminder as he keeps hearing that tick-tock of that watch, reminding him again of what he did. Dexter is going to have to get involved with Harrison extremely quickly, because if he doesn't, all of this is going to go to hell. Harrison ends up having a misconstrued almost kiss with Elsa, which continues to send him spiraling further. He doesn't have anybody that he can really go to that he's able to share this stuff with and actually breathe a little bit here. And we love Harrison. We want the best for him. But this is all going to explode, and very clearly dealing with this increased pressure and knowing that Batista has more information here, it seems that Harrison decides that he's going to own up to what he did, and he starts heading to the NYPD when, surprise, surprise, Dexter appears and stops him. Now, I have to believe that this is actually happening. Obviously, we're dealing with a series where multiple characters have visions and see people who aren't truly there. So there's a small possibility this could all be in Harrison's mind. I doubt it. I'm positive that this is Dexter actually finally making contact, and not a moment too soon, Dexter, because your absence, you taking more time out here for it to fulfill your own desires, is causing a lot more problems here for Harrison. So hopefully Dexter is going to be able to help him out of this mess with Ryan Foster, but we know the way this show works, it's going to get much worse. Now, my final thoughts here right now is that because Charlie doesn't share the taste of her boss, Leon Prater, and thus far we have no reason to believe that Prater himself is a killer, I have to wonder whether or not this is going to end up being a bit like Season 5's Jordan Chase scenario, to where Prater's just this master manipulator and has all these other people doing the hard work for him, but he himself isn't actually going to get his own hands dirty here. I know that can be a lot of other situations, but given the history of this franchise, it would make sense that it's kind of modeled after a previous season. I wonder if we're going to get to a point to where Charlie is going to end up having to flip on Prater, because it's very clear she doesn't share his love of serial killers or anything else he's doing. She doesn't have the taste for the folks that he surrounds himself with. So I wonder if we're going to get to a point to where Dexter's saving grace is going to end up having to be Charlie, and revealing that he only targets bad people and serial killers, and that all these people needed to die. Charlie likely doesn't want to be wrapped up in all of this, and I think as the season goes on, maybe we'll get more insight there with it, like maybe Prater has some dirt on her or something, but we'll find out. I am curious what y'all are thinking so far of Dexter Season 1 Resurrection here. Let me know your thoughts on that in the comment section. Tell me your theories that are going on with Charlie, with Harrison, with Batista. I do have a feeling Batista's not going to make it past this season. This feeling is growing and growing and growing. Very curious to see where that goes. But let me know in the comment section what y'all are thinking. And of course, hit that subscribe button there. And the best way to make sure you're staying on top of all the content I'm dropping is to get subscribed to my link tree. You can do that by going to linktr.ee/T Scary Movie. If you get subscribed, that's going to give you access to the YouTube page for the video versions of the show, to your favorite podcasting platforms, the audio-only versions of the show, my Letterboxd page for written reviews and movie rankings throughout the year, my TikTok page for short horror content including movie news and movie premieres, my Twitch page for horror gaming including Phasmophobia, and my Fangoria shop page where you can enjoy a 20% discount off anything in the Fangoria shop. Take advantage of that, y'all. Hit that subscribe button. We got a lot more great content coming up for you here over the week, including reviews for some of my favorite films, The Lost Boys and Fright Night. Got both of those coming up, along with the review for Weapons. I know that is a big one for all of you that you're looking forward to as well. So don't miss out. Hit that subscribe button, hit that follow button. A lot more fun stuff coming your way. That's it tonight, though, y'all. My name is T. We've been talking scary movies. Stay scared.